All right, the last two angles in the first quadrant we want to talk about are 0 degrees and 90 degrees because these, you could call them special cases. They're more just strange cases. Like they're the triangle, you can't get triangles out of them. So let's take a look at that. With being trigonometry, we want to make a triangle out of everything. Here's the first quadrant. Here is 0 degrees. I can see some people trying to force a triangle that way, but that's a 90-degree triangle and you have no idea what that is, right? You have no idea what the other two angles are. And so that doesn't help us. We can't draw a triangle with the x-axis and 0 degrees because 0 degrees is the x-axis. That you can't draw a triangle between the same thing. So 0 degrees here, we can't approach it the same way. Luckily, we do know that this is on the unit circle. Right? It's on the unit circle. And from the last video, we do know that this point, if this is a radius of 1, then this point on the quadrant, right, if we remember the whole quadrant system, is going to be x comma y, or out 1, up nothing. Okay, it's going to be a point. It's going to be just a point. Now, from the last video, we were talking about points. Remember how we came up with the fact that sine is y, opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine is the x, adjacent over hypotenuse? Well, we can use that fact here. We can jump the gun. We don't have to do any triangles or anything because it's already there. Sine of 0 degrees is going to be that y value. Cosine of 0 degrees is going to be that x value. And we have sine and cosine. The tricky part is now we've got tangent. Tangent, as you saw, is the sides divided, right? It's opposite over adjacent. Now we can use that here. Sine and cosine can also be divided to get our tangent. Sine over cosine. Because opposite over adjacent. You see how it's all hidden in that point there? So if we do that here, we get 0 over 1. Don't let that panic you. 0 divided by anything is just 0. And so we get tangent equal to 0. So we approached it from a slightly different method. We approached it from a more unit circle perspective as opposed to a triangle perspective, more of a point than a circle. Point than a triangle, but it's the same idea. We're going to do it again for 90 degrees because the same issue happens. So here's our quadrant now, and we have the whole first quadrant as our degree radians. Once again, you could draw a line that way, but then you're wondering, what is the other two angles, right? You're not actually using your angle to create a triangle. Instead, you can create like a box. You see what I mean? If I just drop this back to the x-axis, it's the same line. And so I can't do the same triangle idea as before. But I can play off this point idea. This would be the point 0, 1. All right, it would be the point 0, 1. And now I can do the same idea as 0 degrees. So sine of 90 degrees would be that y value, 1. Cosine of 90 degrees would be that x value, 0. And then tangent of 90 degrees would be their division. Now here's where you end up with something weird because we're not allowed to divide by 0, which is what's happening here, and therefore the tangent of 90 degrees does not exist. And that's okay too. Sometimes things just don't exist. All right, that is the first quadrant of the unit circle. Luckily, all other quadrants play off of this quadrant, okay? So we have 0 and 90 kind of being special. We have 30, 45, and 60 going off of these special right triangles. And lots of coming around to this point that we see that it hits on the unit circle. All right, before we finish up for this section completely, in the next video, we're going to go back to that cheat sheet page and fill in a little more information. So I will see you there.